Hello, Fight Insight fans, viewers, and listeners. I'm your co-host, Braydbunch, and with me, as always, your host, Timmy B. On today's episode, we talk to a fighter about their firsthand experience following the UFC betting scandal, which we've talked plenty about on here. We're going to try our best to understand what an NIL is. We're going to drink some Prime, and a whole lot more. Tim, hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight Insight Podcast. Let's talk.
Our guest today is a fighter and philanthropist who splits her time between kicking ass and helping those less fortunate. We first met her way back on episode 44. I highly suggest you check it out to learn more about her. Today, she returns to talk to us about a very strange and unfortunate incident that occurred within her gym, Glory MMA and Fitness, currently the focus of the UFC betting scandal. We asked her here to talk about what's going on since then, the repercussions, and how she and her teammates are coping. Everybody, please welcome back to the podcast, Alexa Culp. And her dogs.
And dog
Hi.
How's it going, Alexa?
Good. Glad to be here. How are you guys?
Good. And right away the appearance?
Right away. She won't
Right
miss
away.
a beat.
No. And what is her name?
This is Sifa. You want to come up? This is my circus dog.
Beautiful. And we see her always on your Instagram.
Yes, she's
so
my baby.
Yeah, so for those that don't already follow you, you are Alexa_Culp.MMA on Instagram. That's you. I will put that down at the bottom, and we'll have that during the show as well too.
Awesome.
So follow you. Now, Alexa, the last time we saw you, you were in a hurricane.
Yes.
So it's nice that you survived that.
Yeah, just a couple of them.
Yeah. And for those not watching, and for those listening on audio, you have to watch because you will constantly be accosted by this dog for the whole podcast, I'm assuming.
Well, this is her mama. This is Zora. Oh. She's the sweetest. No licks.
All right.
But she's just gonna cuddle for a second.
All right, there you go. Alexa, we became friends when we had you on the podcast the first time. We were supportive of your career and everything that you've been doing. And then you were training out of Glory MMA and Fitness your whole life. When you came on the podcast last time, you're like, hey, that's the first gym I ever went to, and it's an amazing gym, and here you are. And then, of course, it becomes the focus of this weird scandal. And I thought right away, oh man, poor Alexa. How is Alexa doing?
Oh man.
And more than the scandal itself, I was thinking, like, what about all the people there? What about all the people that have uprooted their lives to go and train at that gym, or that have lived their whole life at that gym? It's really hard to switch gyms. So I appreciate you coming on. My question is, like, how are you doing?
We adjust, it is crazy. And a lot of us don't know much of anything. Really, we're getting all the same information anybody else is getting through Twitter and whatever. I've been at Glory since I was 15, so that's my family. So all of it's crazy, and emotions are kind of everywhere. We're all just trying to figure it out together. So I'm doing good. It's kind of, I don't know, really the word for it. It is, you just have to adjust daily. Our team's doing the best that we can to adjust to the rules that are put in place. That's been the biggest challenge, is just making sure everybody can stick together.
Well, that's what I say though, because you're saying like the rules, but like I don't understand what the rules are. All I heard was that the UFC says that if you're training there, you'll never be a UFC fighter.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, I feel. Ooh. You're good. Yeah, if you're in the UFC or wanting to be in the UFC, having any connection to Glory is not, and it's not an option.
And there are other leagues. I haven't heard that any other league officially said that, but I did hear that other leagues were saying that certain individuals from that gym couldn't be your coach, like at the event.
Yeah, for what I know, I
Some
don't know if
organization.
the other leagues necessarily. I know that it was definitely a consideration. Like they were talking about it, but I haven't heard any full confirmation. I think it would probably be based. It'd probably just get decided at the time, depending on what league and what all's going on.
Yeah,
But
because things change. Yeah,
yeah.
because things change daily, right? Like you don't know when something's going to come out or whatever. But when you keep saying like my team and the people, are you? So does that mean you're still there?
Nope. We're not there. We're kind of all just staying in communication. We've all gone where we need to go.
Okay.
And we're all just kind of staying in communication, like in supporting each other through the phone as best you can. I know people that have had camps, they've traveled. We just got done traveling. We're just making it work. You see each other at lunch and you go get coffee and you catch up, and that's where we're at. But you got to travel for your training right now.
But that's crazy though, because people, like I said, people uproot their lives to go live close to the gym that they want to be at with the people they want to be at. And so now you're saying like, okay, so, and we're talking the professional fighters. Like obviously if you're just there for regular strength and conditioning class, or, I guess you can still do that. But for the professional fighters that need to like have real training or like really want to train and go somewhere.
Right.
So you guys have all just relocated to different gyms?
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's moved fully quite yet. Hi. But a lot of the fighters who are either already in the UFC or are trying to get into the UFC, they are testing out. They're traveling, testing out other gyms, just in case. Hey, I'm talking. Are you done? Oh, come here. Or go. They're traveling and testing because nobody wants to move, but depending on how everything goes, if the rules don't get lifted, we don't really have too much of an option. I know we're trying to get everything going here. I know our coaches, like our affiliate, old used to be, not anymore. But people that we've had on the team are starting up other gyms that won't be connected. They're playing by the rules and trying to get everything going. But until we can get everything set, we've had people traveling, going back home to where they came from, and kind of just taking this transition period as gracefully as we all can.
And to be fair, I appreciate what you're saying. Sorry, Brady, I'll just say one quick thing. But like, I appreciate what you're saying. And of course, before we started this podcast, we had talked about saying like, look, we're not trying to say anything about anyone else. We're really just talking about you.
Right.
And we're just trying to be appreciative of the situation. But yeah, Braydbunch.
I was just going to say, I'm imagining just the fact that some of these fighters having to travel, like being on a tight budget in itself, like just how annoying that could be, right?
That's probably, that's a big part.
Yeah, like it's tough. How can I ask, like, how were you made aware of this? Like, obviously they can't just send out a blast email. Like, how did you find out that like, okay, you've got to make a decision here now? Because you could just say, screw everybody. I don't care what rules are in place. I'm going to ride this baby out and I'm going to stay here and I'm still going to train with whoever and I'm going to still train wherever I want. And I don't care about any rules.
Right. And I wish I could, but then you don't know how far they're going to take the rules. So you don't know if,
of course,
then you train, you stay, and then maybe you go train with your old teammates, and now they're affiliated somehow because somebody wants to spin it, and so you just can't because you don't want to put your other teammates at risk. I'm trying to remember what you started with. My brain's full.
Just saying, like, how were you made aware of everything?
Yes. Our coaches, they sat us all down and they told us it was coming. Because it was, you either saw the release before practice or you hadn't seen it. And so they want to make sure that everybody got the news right then and there. And it was a fast change. It was, hey, like, this is it. And we don't have answers just yet. And that was at the very beginning.
Right.
So it was fast. I mean, as soon as they didn't even know until it got released. You know what I mean? It was one of those situations. So we all kind of found out with everybody else. We didn't get to know before anybody else. So it was just
have a lot of like reporters been around, like trying to get the true story from people? Like like I said, I cared about you. I cared about the fighters that were there, like the young fighters growing up there, right? Because I'm thinking like, okay, what about these guys? And I haven't seen anything. Like, I haven't seen any reports or like news articles about the athletes that aren't directly impacted. You know what I mean? Like, aside from the ones that news gets made about them,
right.
I haven't seen anything. Like, has people been reaching out to you just to say like, what's up? Like what we are now?
No. If anybody has been reaching out, it's just trying to get dirt on other people, which I don't have because it's not mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had a job. I showed up. I did my job.
Right.
Past that.
Can you sublet the gym and just open up Alexa Culp's MMA and fitness out of the same facility, have all the same people there, and just say, look, from 12 to 2 p.m. Mondays to Thursdays, this is Alexa Culp's MMA and gym. Like, what's to prevent someone from just doing that?
I wish, but if it's in that building, they're gonna pull it.
Oh, that's so messed up.
Yeah.
Like, that's how weird it is, right?
Yeah, they just have it really strict. They're really making a point.
Yeah. So you're Kansas City born and raised.
I am. I am.
So are there other gyms out there that you can train at and affiliate yourself with too for a while? And that must be hard too, because other gyms are going to be like, well, don't just use me. You're either a member of this gym or you're not. Like, it's like a Cobra Kai thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
There's Marathon MMA, which is Trey Ogden's gym.
Okay.
That he's got running, and then there's Ignite, which is Zach Cummings' gym.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and they are their own places. And then I know there's a few other smaller gyms, but those are the two that while I'm back in town and home, that's where I'm going and partying it up with the people that I do know. So it's been fortunate to have them, that they were able to go off and they've got their own things running and they have good teams and good coaching. It's awesome.
Have other gyms, and not naming names, but have any other gyms you've come across or that you've heard of through some of your teammates, have any of other gyms said, hey, you're from there, I don't want anything to do with you?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
no,
that's good.
Yeah, none of the gyms, because it's not us. It's not the fighters that are having to carry the issues. We just aren't allowed to be in contact with it.
All right.
No, but they could be worried that a fighter was part of it.
That's true. I haven't heard. Nobody said anything. Whenever our teammates are traveling, they haven't been shut down yet. Yeah, I think it's kind of until you're proven.
Right.
No reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, until your name gets said for some reason or something, it's like, yeah, hey, look, I'm just a good individual, a martial artist. I'm looking to do my thing.
Just trying to do my job.
Yeah. What else? What is anything else that's going on crazy? Like, what's the vibe? Like,
the vibe is crazy. That would be bad. No, it was crazy at first just because, I mean, the hammer got dropped and it was like, wow, our family really has to kind of just disperse, because you go from being like on a team, but then this gets dropped and it kind of has to turn into, okay, I have to work on my career first. So it was a mixed emotions of like, everybody needed to react and not a lot of communication was able to happen. So nobody knew what anybody else was doing. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, oh, that teammate went over there and that teammate went over there. And you just had to end up doing your own thing. And we were so used to communicating with each other. And then it just kind of had to stop. And I don't think it really had to, but everybody had to make a choice fast, because we all had fights coming up. We all had careers that needed to be protected. And whether we wanted to or not, these are the rules.
yeah.
You got to play ball whether you want to or not.
Out of curiosity, I know that I train sometimes, and I know there's specific people that when I go to the gym, I'm like, yes, my sparring buddy's here, stuff like that. I'm assuming a lot of those like dynamic duos probably have been split up as a result of all this too.
Yeah.
Which just has me feeling so bad for all of you, because I can only imagine the frustration of like just the system and the consistency, and it's all out the window. And
we're definitely like when we are in town, we're all meeting up at the other gyms. So like whether we're at Ignite or at Marathon, so we still, whenever you are in town, it is nice. You get to go there and you get to get that again. And everybody's, the past week, it's kind of been, we've been flowing pretty good. And thankfully, because our gym was kind of a hub for the area, everybody that's at those gyms, we've already seen, we've already supported. Like, they're not brand new faces. You've usually felt the body before and worked with them before. So,
all right, cool.
It is a blessing that it didn't just get completely trashed. You know what I mean?
And in particular for you, growing up there, even better. You lucked out.
Yeah, definitely. I thought about it. That was like the one thing where I was like, I was really salty, because I've known these people since I was 15.
Yeah.
And then everybody starts saying that they have to move, and you're just like, I mean, yeah, I'll support you in whatever you have to do, but selfishly, like, that's like it's seriously like an older brother or sister being like, yep, bye. And you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll call you. But it's been nice, because whenever anyone's in town, we're able to. The team has made a really big effort to keep it all running and keep us together the best that they can.
Awesome.
No, it's nice. And I do hope that this gets sorted and figured out sooner than later, because the powers that be have to be respectful of what's happening to all you guys. You know, like, it really does suck that you're in that situation and that all the other people are in that situation, because not just the emotional, but the financial issues, right, that come along with it. And so hopefully they can tidy this up so that they can say, okay, we've dealt with whatever it is we need to deal with. We've, crossed all the T's and dotted the I's, and now go ahead, go do your thing, be your group, be your unit, and then be your team, right?
Yeah, it is. It's weird being grown adults and still having big rules, I guess.
Yeah.
we're like in this sport, you feel like you're your own boss, like you make your schedule, like your coach makes the schedule and you show up depending on how good you want to be and if you're going to be on the team kind of thing. But now it's even past that. So now we just got like dropped on a CEO and they're like, oh, these are the new rules. And it's just adjusting. Just got to adjust. I think we all kind of like this sport because you get to be in control of like what you get out of it is what you put into it. And now we can only put so much into it while we're adjusting. And so you're just kind of like, I want to go work where I'm used to working with the people I'm working with because I was there for a reason and it was putting me on the right path. And I trusted that path and we're going and we're just adjusting. Got to make a new path. Always. It'll cause growth, good growth. I know that, but growth sucks sometimes.
Yeah. And definitely, I mean,
I didn't ask for it. When someone was like, hey, this is
it. Yeah, we've had other professional fighters come on. Jake Matthews out of Australia. I can think he was one of the last guys that said it, but like, hey, look, I've moved plenty of gyms throughout my career when I felt I needed to, and I've gone to seek out different things.
Yes.
But that's not the scenario for you guys. You're like, well, I wasn't at that point. I didn't need to move. I didn't ask to move.
Yeah, we didn't need to and we didn't want to.
Yeah.
But
now, Alexa, I wish you all the best, of course, because I want to see you succeed and grow and be as prosperous as you can. What is next for you now? Do you have anything lined up?
We have been looking. I'm still, if I'm like shivering, if you guys can see it, I'm just warming up because I've been outside. What's next? A lot. I've really taken this time to grow. After my last, I was supposed to be fighting on the last FAC. My opponent, bless her heart, tore her shoulder a week out. And thankfully, they found me. Kendall Hollowell actually stepped up to do a kickboxing match.
Yeah.
It was fun. It wasn't an MMA fight, and I was so ready. I've been trying.
I was very confused why you weren't taking her down, Alexa, if I can be honest.
Me too.
I'm like,
trust me. My brain was like, why are we not taking her down?
Yeah.
But it's okay. I did
It
go
took
for
it. It took me a while to figure out it was a kickboxing match.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And I mean, she stepped up earlier, short notice. I appreciate that. And she was fun. It was fun. I just wanted to get back in there anyways.
Yeah.
So it was good. And then we've definitely been looking. I know Frank Mir has this tournament coming up.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're trying. I'm trying to hear something on that. Other than that, I haven't heard much.
Okay.
I'm also, with everything that's going on, I've kind of like, damn, I might have to be patient again, which is okay because even when I'm not fighting, I'm still doing a lot. It allows me to do more with the foster kids. So I just take my breath and I work my other passion and I work my butt off in the gym and keep pushing until something's ready. I know that the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and I also know that you can't rush life. So I find the balance in between, and I only complain a little bit, and then we move on.
Random question. Just hearing your desire to fight and seeing all the different styles you've stepped into, even with that record-breaking knockout. Right? Would you ever? I'm a big fan, and I know it's a growing sport. Would you ever try bare knuckle boxing?
Okay, I was wondering. I think about it. Right? I really, really like the fact that there's so many angles to this sport. Yes. So I feel like I would have to talk to my coaches. But do I think about it? And sometimes am I like, oh, hell yeah. Like, Absolutely. So it's not off the table for me. It's just if they were to look at me and be like,
That's awesome. I love
you
it.
know, if they tell me I need to get a little bit better before I do that, or I mean, a girl's been throwing bare knuckles for a while before I got into this, so
I love it.
they
Born to
might
do
let
it.
you go.
Would you have to ask one of our favorite fans of the show, your mother?
Miss Dana.
Miss Dana, would she have to give you permission to fight bare knuckle? I don't want her to get mad at me for bringing this bare knuckle up, and she's going to go, "You made my daughter go into this?"
No, I've already told her. She already knows. She can't. She just has to sit back and support. And she doesn't have to support, but she knows I'm going to do it anyway, so she does.
Yes.
All right. Well, we hope that you get some fight news soon. We hope that you get maybe into that Frank Mir tournament, which would be good. Did he say that there's a tournament in your weight class? I haven't seen much, but yes.
Yeah. It's a tournament, and it's I don't know how many weight classes, but it's multiple.
Okay.
So I don't know. I really don't know much. I know we're just trying to find more information to see if it would work out and be a good fit. I don't know. I would like it. I would like it. It would be like confirmed bouts, so I wouldn't have to go, oh, maybe I'm fighting next month, or maybe I'll get a call in 3 weeks, or you know what I mean. I would have something to plan for. It would be something a little bit new because I've never done a tournament before, and I like that. I like when I can do something new in the sport, like the Triller thing. I loved it mainly. Like I loved the experience of doing something completely new, not knowing what to expect, and just having to go with the flow. I find that when I do, like, even when I am doing like an MMA fight or like that kickboxing match, I've done kickboxing a few times, and I show up and I'm usually there just for fun, like to be competitive, but the fact that I'm having fun kind of takes over.
Okay.
And so I still enjoy it and I love the hell out of it and I'll do it every time. But I don't really lock in, and that's something I have to work on for sure, because I'm just like, oh, I've been here before. This is so much fun. But when something's new and you don't know what to expect, you have to lock in. And that's when you really get like the best version of yourself and you get to really show everything, because then your brain's like, we need to pull it all out right now. Like we need to be at peak. But if it's somewhere where I'm like, I'm just kind of playing around, then that's what happens. I play around and then my coaches are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm having so much
fun. Speaking of having fun, someone that didn't look like they were having too much fun on your Instagram.
Oh, my baby.
I mean, I feel really bad for this dog that has a diaper strap. He looks miserable.
Okay, hold on, pause. Because everybody needs to realize I did not do that.
Yeah, okay. Set the record straight for you there.
That was my mom.
Oh, your mother again. Okay.
I'm calling her out. That was Dana.
Yeah. I also had the question that was posed to me. It says, I see you post a lot about your husky. Do you think you share the same personality traits?
Yes.
Are you? Yeah.
Yes. And if there were cops for dogs, she would be arrested. And I say yes, not because, simply because we get told all the time. All of the time is my family like, yep, that's you. That's you. She stole that off the counter. That was you. She's trying to sneak. That's you. Come here. But she's, I don't want to call myself psychotic, but I call her psycho all the time. And not in a bad way, just in like, she's just always wanting to party up a little bit.
Yeah.
She likes the fast pace. And she likes to get ran down. Like I know that's why I like this sport, is because if I don't train, then I can't sit still. I have to drain the battery. And so if her battery's not drained, she's going to find trouble. And that's how I've been my whole life.
Nice.
So yes, we have the same personality.
Nice. And I wanted to ask before we let you go, and thank you for spending so much time, Alexa. And I hope that people get the sense of what I wanted to get out of this interview about the gym and stuff like that. But I feel like you've really addressed it very well and professionally. But I did want to ask you, how's things going? You made mention about your work with foster care, and you said how like, hey, this time away has allowed you to do that. And I encourage people to watch the last podcast with you where you talk a lot about all the work that you do with foster children. But just briefly before we let you go, how's that going, and how's the work going there?
Yeah, actually, I'm really excited that you asked, because all the kids I've been working with, I'm going to tell them to watch this part because they deserve a really big, really big shout out. I have a teen that I was working with. She has officially moved out on her own. Yep. And that was a journey. I'm going to look her in the eyes. And that's credit to herself. That's credit to her parents. Everybody that was a part of that team, that was a huge move. And then the younger kids that I was working with have been adopted.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Yes. That makes my heart so warm. I actually just got to see them last Saturday. But yeah, they got adopted, and now we're working on that transition, because it gets real. You know, when it gets real, it feels real, and you're like, ooh, okay, now I have to really settle in here. But they're doing great. They're going with the flow, and the parents are just open-armed, open hearts. So I have open space for more families now. So I'm starting to reach out, and it's kind of a word of mouth thing. Nice. Since I'm independent and not through an agency anymore, which allows me to kind of work with pricing with the parents, which is a big deal. But yeah, so hopefully I can get some new kiddos, and we can get on their journey and help them start growing and pushing that way.
That's beautiful, Alexa. And if people want to reach out to you for questions or help with foster children or the process or things like that, I think last time you said you encouraged them to reach out to you.
Yep. Yes.
I don't want to be putting that out there, but yes,
no,
you said that.
1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah. And not just reach out, but annoy the hell out of me. Like, go for it.
So I love the questions. I hope you're ready, because everything you said, I loved hearing, but I'm actually working for a clinic that works with an agency, and I provide mental health services for the families and the kids and everything. But just hearing what you were saying, I'm going to pick your brain, and I have some passions that I'm going to reach out to you about, because I bet you could help. But no, you're awesome. I'm a huge fan, from the fighting to what you do for people. So yeah, I'm gonna zip it, because I want to know how to reach you to get information. Yes. No, definitely. Please reach out. I love it. Nobody could ever reach out too much. But it's just through my Instagram's probably the best way. Cool. I would say through the Alexa_Culp.MMA. And then I check that every day. And then sometimes I go on like a 4-day binge where I'm like, I'm not looking at my phone, but it's not personal. I'll come back. And then are you stuck by geography, or can you work with people across the country? I can do whatever I want. All right. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, we can always figure something out. Awesome.
Nice. Yes, and Alexa, I feel like I should ask you this. I didn't ask before, but how is the foundation coming along? Any work on that? Any progress there?
Girl, crazy. That's some adult stuff, but I'm figuring it out.
Okay.
There's a lot of tax stuff going on. And then I had to work with Triller on receiving the money. So now that's been going, that went through, and now it is just figuring out who I want on the board, which
Nice.
I have most of the people, but I have people that are willing, but I have to be really like, I have to be realistic of like, this isn't going to be just you're on this foster care board and it's nice and it's sweet. It's going to take a lot of work for very, very little money. And I don't want to bring in people that are really not ready for that, because it will be people I care about and I don't want them to ever feel used. And I know that that's really easy. That happens really fast. So it is just putting all the pieces together. But once they're together, it's going to be a green light. It'll be good.
Nice. And make sure when that happens, of course, I'll see it on your Instagram too, but I would love to have you back again, Alexa, to share that story and to promote that for you, whatever I can. I really love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. That's Braydbunch. That's the whole reason I found Alexa in the first place, was after her fight at Triller, and they were saying all this stuff about the work that she was doing. I was like, what the hell is this kid doing? Right. Like, and I was so, what do you call it? Inspired, by the good work that she was doing. So Alexa, I'm so happy to hear that it's still going. I'm happy to hear that, that for all the craziness that's happening in your life and around in the gym and stuff like that, that you're still managing to keep things together, working on those other passions and doing good things for you and the community and the people around you. Congratulations to your kids. That is so fantastic. I'm so happy for them. Before we let you go, Braydbunch, is there anything that you wanted to say before we let Alexa go?
You know what? Basically, just it's been a pleasure and honor. I can't wait to see all that you're up to this year. And good luck. I think we heard you were working on your camper. So good luck with that task. Yes, can't wait to have
that. Thank you.
And Alexa, before we let you go, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers, listeners, and fans of yours and of the show?
Just always thanks for the support. They do reach out. You guys are great. But I'm just happy that I got to be back on here with you guys and I got to meet you. This was so cool. I loved it. I always love talking to you guys. So
thank you, Alexa. All the best to you, Alexa. We will talk to you again. Good luck with everything in the future, and we'll see you soon. And to all your friends out there, if anybody wants to come on a podcast, tell them to reach out to me. We'd love to have them on before their fights.
Do. Yes, I will.
All right.
Much love to the dogs, too.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. They love me. I'll see you.
Take care, Alexa. Bye-bye. All right. Alexa is the best.
Yeah, and I am going to reach out to pick her brain.
Yeah.
Just hearing her story about, like, she reminded me of a lot of the work I'm doing with young teens and young adults. Where, like, just the transitions, getting them first maybe into a home and then out independently. And just, I can tell she lives for it, her talking about that board. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see her grow in all those different fight directions and the philanthropy as well.
Yeah, all those things. Like, we wish her all the best. That like I said, that's why she inspired me to have her on the show in the first place, right? And then a second time because she's such a good person, right? But yeah, it's just crazy, like all the things, and for someone so young and so passionate about those things to be helping so many people, it's really beautiful. And I hope that bringing people like that on the podcast inspires viewers and listeners of the show to go, shit, I should go do something good. I should go put out some time and put out some help, like that's what the world needs. It needs positivity in this world more than anything else. Okay. Let me just say a quick shout out to friends of the podcast. So first I'll start with RageWorks Podcast Network out of New York City. They're the podcast network that we're a part of. You can find tons of other great podcasts there. RageWorksNetwork.com. Friends of the podcast, Slim Reaper Ray Rowland fought at UNF on the weekend, kicked ass to victory.
Good for
Braydbunch, let me just tell you, that promotion UNF puts on a goddamn show. I don't know how much money that organization is putting in. He's an amateur MMA fighter. He walks out with a guy rapping his entrance song in front of him. They've got the jumbotrons, the music. Everything about that organization is so freaking professional. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
And he did amazing. So the highlights of his fight were fantastic. They have the Schmo is there doing announcing. Former guest of the podcast, UFC fighter Ashley Evans-Smith. She does commentating for them. They had Danny Trejo there promoting his movie. Like, it was freaking crazy. It was such a good event. Awesome. Great show. So Slim Reaper, we're so proud of you, my friend. Jiyeon Kim, Fire Fist Jiyeon Kim and Kyle Nelson both fight this Saturday for the UFC. Albert Ochoa, former guest of the podcast. He's the boxer, the influencer, the guy that dated one of the Kardashian sisters, took him to prom. He's fighting February 18th for Influencer Championship Boxing. He's fighting for their championship title there.
Interesting. You know what? I hit up Albert recently.
Yeah, good dude.
Yes, we've been playing been trying to connect with him because I know he's legitimizing himself. I love seeing that.
Yeah.
I hope he gets the win. And then,
of course he will.
And after that, I think we're gonna see him jump into like the pro world. I
am slightly confused because there are so many influencer leagues.
Yes.
I don't even understand what that means. Really, take the word influencer out of it. They're just a whole bunch of other leagues. You know what I mean? Like,
it's different promotions, different leagues.
it's just different promotions. But anyways, he's fighting February 18th. We will do what we can to get him on the show before then. If not, we'll have him on after his victory. But he did reach out saying he'd like to come back on, and I love that kid. He was so nice. I met him the day after I met you, actually, because we had you guys back to back.
Yes.
And he's a great dude. Chelsea Chandler, she has her fight booked for April 29th, so good luck to her. And then
that's going to be a brawl, by the way.
She's going to murder this chick. She's fighting. She's going to murder her.
I agree, but what I'll just say is, what's her face is a multi-USA boxing champion.
Yes.
So I think it'll be a little bit of a scrap, but I do agree. Chelsea's getting the win.
Yeah, Chelsea's going to Stockton slap her around. And next week on the podcast, if you're here because of Alexa Culp, thank you so much for joining. Next week on the podcast, we have Jenna Bishop returning to the podcast. So again, another returning guest. But this one, she fights February 25th for Bellator, her promotional debut. She just signed to Bellator. We've been talking about her since we've met her. Very highly touted. She was my pick for Female Fighter of the Year 2022. So she'll be on the podcast next week. Very excited to talk with her. Braydbunch, I don't know where we are on time right now because I'm going to have to edit out a bunch. So I don't know how much long this podcast is really going, but we'll talk about these two topics that we want anyways. First thing is Prime.
Yes.
The drink. Now, Prime just announced, boom, the sponsorship with UFC. They are now the official drink of the UFC.
Yes.
I want to talk a few things about this, but start off, have you ever tried Prime?
So I've never once drank a Prime. I've seen them. Oh, you actually have it.
I've got one in my hand.
So we weren't lying with our intro. All right.
I'm going to drink Prime. I have never tried it before. I got the ice pop version, the red, white, and blue, like the popsicle.
Yes.
But I do want to note that it does say, and I think it says this on all things, but it says not intended for children. And you know this is primarily marketed towards children. So
yes, without a doubt. From the colors to the flavors to
like the whole reason I heard about Prime was a friend of mine said that her kid and his whole hockey team was going crazy over getting Prime. Because they see it on the influencers and blah blah blah. Meanwhile, and I don't know, I got to check Gatorade to see if Gatorade says it is not for children, but I feel like Gatorade is for children.
Yes.
Anyways, all right.
You know what? They just put that on there to make it more enticing to children.
This is gross.
You know what? I've heard that from people.
Holy crap. This is disgusting. No offense. I mean, Prime doesn't sponsor me and they won't now, but holy shit. This is really sweet.
You know what?
Ugh. Oh my God, this is gross.
And like we needed another thirst quencher with the electrolytes or whatever on this planet.
Oh my God, that is like, and I love sweets. Oh, this is pretty disgusting. All right, well, that's a thumbs down for me. Maybe I'll try another flavor. Oh, that's really gross. That's surprisingly how bad that is. Braydbunch, are you surprised that the big Logan Paul announcement, and thank God they announced it today so that we don't miss another news cycle, right? But
Yes.
are you surprised that that was the big Logan Paul announcement?
So you know what? When I saw the announcement was coming, I know everyone was talking about like Logan Paul. He's gonna be an MMA fighter,
He's going to fight for UFC.
and I think he mentioned once in an interview if he ever were to go like a real fight, it would happen in the UFC.
And he wanted Patty Pimblett, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah. So knowing like Jake Paul and Dana White kind of have some beef, part of me was like, I find it weird that Logan and Dana seem to get along.
Yeah.
But you know what? Keep in mind, I think Logan had a slap league before Dana White did.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Well, or I don't know if he had a slap league, but he was connected to something somehow.
Right. So the two of them clearly very similarly minded. I think this is a way for Dana White to be involved a bit into the boxing world because you have KSI, right? So I think it's really silly and ridiculous. It also makes me wonder, what was the sports drink for UFC before this? Was it Monster?
Monster. Yeah.
Right. So what
I
happened?
think I don't know that it's the official beverage of the UFC. I don't know that has to be sports drink. I'm assuming Monster's contract has now ended and they're going to transition into Prime. I'm assuming you can't possibly have Monster and Prime at the same time.
I agree, right? But guess what? I respect the Monster brand more.
Yeah.
But here's the truth. Part of me was really skeptical that it would be news of him fighting. So once I saw it, I was like, yes, this makes sense.
The reason why it couldn't have been him fighting is because dude is in WWE.
Yep.
No offense. He's got to be taking massive steroids to get through that stuff because that stuff hurts like hell. He blew his knee out at whatever event it was, and then he was fighting at the Rumble last weekend.
Yes. So, but guess what?
And performing like crazy. Dude, you don't get that much better without taking a bunch of shit.
And you know what I was actually thinking? Part of me in my head, when I was like, is he fighting? I was like, you know what? Maybe all that injury talk was a bunch of BS. He's getting lost up and he's going to pop in. But no, you're right. But yes.
And I'm not, mind you, I'm not against you taking all the stuff or whatever to be able to put on the show that he does in the WWE because I'm really supportive of what he does there. I think he's freaking fantastic.
Yes, he's an athlete.
Yeah, he's an athlete. He does it. He's got the look. He's got the whatever. But I just didn't see him coming into UFC because I'm like, well, then you got to be in USADA. I thought he was going to sign on with UFC as a commentator or something. I thought maybe that was the thing. The Prime drink was too obvious. Everybody said that right from the get-go. Yep. So it's like, how's this a massive announcement that we had to like get ready for?
Real quick.
Can you imagine if I throw up while this podcast because I'm drinking this? That would be great.
These kids today, they're so lost, right? I'm sure they're thinking it tastes good all just because of what's being shoved down their throats, literally.
I can't even tell you what this tastes like either. Anyways, go ahead.
What was I thinking? ADHD moment. I'm thinking about Dana White. Thinking about.
Can I say if it's your brother that hates Dana White with a passion, who does everything possible to belittle the UFC, to shut them down, joining PFL to make PFL the #1 Premier League, blah blah blah. How is your brother posting? And like the comment, the blurb underneath the post is Prime partners with the Premier Fight League. I'm like, dude, your fucking brother is trying to get PFL to be the Premier Fight League. Like, it's so weird and contrasting between the two brothers and what they're doing.
So it makes me wonder, like, are they competing with each other, the two brothers? Like, or
I think it's just money, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, money talks, right?
Everybody posted as soon as I was doing my post. Everybody was writing and going, "Tim, money talks. Money's thicker than blood."
See, but remember,
money rules all.
I said to you on another podcast, I think that sometimes I think all these organizations act like they're not working together when really they're all in bed together.
Yeah,
right?
You did say that. Yep.
ESPN pushes PFL. ESPN pushes the UFC. Let's act like Dana White and Jake Paul hate each other's guts. It keeps them both in the headlines. Oh, Dana White got some bad press. Oh, let's get a bunch of headlines out there that makes things look different or distracts you. Here's just like story number 5 for Dana White. Just filler to talk about besides him hitting his wife, right?
I know. Okay, well, yeah, I got something to say on that. But you're trying to sell me on that Jake and Dana have this thing and that there's this hatred and whatever. All I'm saying is like this partnership with a Paul brother makes me now believe that it is all fake or whatever. And it's like, well, you wouldn't want that, right? Wouldn't you want there to be this continual thing? Because now I feel like they're like off, like, man, the brothers have to be like, hey, dude, you're okay that I'm doing this, right? Yeah, yeah, go for that money, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm like, I don't know.
You know what? I think a lot of this industry is like the hip hop industry. Yes, there's occasional rappers that have real beef. But the
Hmm.
truth is, it comes out years later. It's their PR teams calling each other. Yo, we're
Right.
gonna act like we hate each other. I'm gonna make this song about you. Da, 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 right?
Yeah.
It keeps the story going. But I do think I might be overthinking it. At the end of the day, it's more just about money. Uh,
God damn, nothing is real anymore.
and you know what? Too. Here's the other thing. Dana White is clearly catering to the influencer world.
Oh yeah, big time.
So that's part of this, right? I think he's looking at the younger generation, like you said, all those young kids drinking prime, right? Like this is a way. Because know what I was thinking about? We grew up being able to watch Spike TV and all that stuff, right? The
Mhm.
current generation doesn't really have that like we did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So there's
yeah.
got to be ways to bring these young kids to the UFC, and this is part of it. Like, oh, Logan Paul, let's go check this out. Like, you know,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like. I don't like the whole thing. I feel like it's weird. It's like it's breaking that fourth wall between reality and what you want. I don't know. Just seem weird. But anyways, okay. Well, congratulations to Prime for being the drink of the UFC. I guess we'll see their stuff everywhere. I do feel like the Prime logo isn't as cool as the Monster logo.
not at all.
Like if you have this now on all the hats and all the shirts and stuff, rather than the claw of the monster,
Yeah,
eh,
no, not.
whatever. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they can make a cooler logo or something. They won't. But one thing you said there, funny about the slap thing and about the this is a way to now get away from the slap thing. Did you see Laura Sanko is going to be a commentator now for UFC and she's starting
Yes,
her first at the next event?
yes, making
I've
them.
been I've been going everywhere because you know what happens once that news hits, it's on like every single stupid MMA page, right? Like as if you're breaking the news. Fuck, I just saw it 20 times while I'm scrolling. I just posted everywhere going, well, I guess that's why she didn't make a public comment about the slap.
Yep,
Because like shit, man, she's like a strong female presence, blah blah blah.
all comes down to money, contracts,
Shit,
opportunity.
man. So now you had to sit there,
Keep your mouth shut
keep
because
your
you.
mouth shut for more than just the fact that like I don't want to lose my job, but now it's like okay, now you got this job, and it's like shit. I wonder in your head at some point if it will ever come out that like she's like, yeah, I was told not to say anything, whatever. Mind you, she was there were allegations about her sleeping around with people too. So
Interesting.
I was going to leave that comment, which was like, I'm sure the married commentators' wives are not too happy that you're there if the allegations are true about her past. But I don't know. Do you like Laura Sanko?
Yeah, I really feel neither way. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm not a huge fan of her, and it's amazing how much love she gets online, though. Holy shit, people love her.
well, if I was Dana White wanting to pick the first female like color commentator, that wouldn't have even been on my radar. Uh,
Yeah.
right? But like
I
you
mean,
said,
who else do they have? I guess I don't know. You know who I like? I like Megan Anderson.
yeah,
The former fighter, she does commentary for I think Invicta, and she does it maybe for some other things. She's cool, man, and she's a former fighter, and she's got a cool look.
yep,
I like her. I would have gone with Ashley Evans Smith,
yep. Or
right? Like I like a former fighter.
yeah, I'd even
I don't
bring in
know.
like a Layla Ali for occasion, right? Like,
Some there had to have been someone better, but anyways, people love Laura Sanko. I don't get the love, but people love her. Um,
you,
anyways,
You know
I
what,
forgot to
too?
put this up.
Real quick, talking about like the spin stuff.
Yeah.
Did you see Conor McGregor named in a lawsuit? Some woman.
Throwing the chick off the boat or whatever,
Yes.
or smacking some chick. Yeah.
And then literally all over the blogs, like 2 days later, is a video of Conor McGregor. Supposedly he was hit by a car on his bike. We only see the aftermath. There he is being so jolly and friendly with the PR team working overboard. And that's why I'm getting so sick of the UFC BS storylines, because most of it's scripted.
Yeah.
Yes. So
yeah. Conor McGregor punches an old man in the back of the head for not accepting a beer at a pub.
Yes.
But gets run over by a car. And couldn't be fucking friendlier.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Right? All fake. Everything's fake.
Yes.
Brady Bunch. This whole goddamn world is fake.
Yes.
All right. Next topic.
The NIL stuff.
Yeah. I like this podcast though. I like talking about just random shit.
Yes, but you know what? I'm going to try to make this quick.
Educate me on this. This is, now for those that don't know, this is I'm going to put a sign up here. Bella Mir, Frank Mir's daughter, because we have to remember there's people that are just on audio only. Bella Mir.
Yep.
She is now an ambassador for the UFC, and it says that she signed a NIL agreement, an NIL, which stands for name, image, and likeness.
Yes.
Brady Bunch, I looked up what the hell a NIL agreement was. I could not figure it out for the life of me. I kind of do, but I don't know. What do you think this is?
All right. So I think basically, in a way, traditionally, very often, if you think about like the big college basketball, the big track athletes, we have people that have set world records, right? Like, but they never brought a penny home, right? All the money went to the colleges, right? You couldn't get a sponsorship, right? And if I remember correctly, I'm going to slaughter this a bit, but I'm thinking to like the Pete Carroll days with USC, where they ended up taking their championship back because I guess certain players were given money on the side. Basically, college athletes are supposed to be amateurs, right?
Yeah.
Amateurs means no pay, no profit. So I guess this actually ended up in the Supreme Court, which is part of why this all changed.
Yeah.
And that Kavanaugh guy, whatever, I'll agree with him on this one. Basically, I guess they focused on like antitrust laws, and they were saying like fixed labor is fixed labor, right? So like the Supreme Court ruled like we're not here to judge like what amateur sports are. That's not our decision. We're more looking at this in like the antitrust way, all that type of stuff. So I guess they ruled that like fixed labor is almost like working for free, right?
Okay.
Right? So what they ruled was college athletes now have the right, just like social media influencers, to go and build a brand, right?
Okay.
They can sell their own brands. They can make ambassador deals with other companies. Basically, they can take their name, build products, sell merch, and now they're able to get the profit, right? Part of it, I believe, is like, now this is where I may slaughter a bit. I know name, image, likeness. I think of like pro wrestling. They have the AEW now, and I'm thinking of back in the day, WCW and WWE. Yeah. Some of these people leave, and guess what? They were a superstar on all these belts in the WWE, and now they're going by a different name at AEW.
Right.
Because they don't have the rights to their name, image, or likeness, aka the WWE still owns that. So what I think this basically is, it's like these athletes will forever own their name, image, and likeness. And through that, they can go make special deals where they will promote products. Companies can promote them, and they get paid for it, basically.
So is this U.S. only? This was a U.S. thing?
So you know what?
That's everywhere?
Interesting. I'm thinking so. Yes, because everything I read up on was all about NCAA.
Yeah. Okay, so I kind of read the same stuff too. But like, so what I don't understand is what the frig is this name, image, and likeness deal with the UFC? So now Bella Mir does what with the UFC?
So Bella, I think if I'm not mistaken, now I'm gonna pull up my little cheat sheet. Hold up.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So I think
Because I'm like, she's gonna be like a spokeswoman for the UFC. Like nobody knows who she is. Like, why wouldn't you just use a normal athlete? Why sign this girl?
because isn't she a wrestler?
Yeah.
So I guess she's doing okay at wrestling.
No, and I think she's had some fights. I think she's had some amateur fights or whatever. I know
think
she's done something. But still, I don't understand. Like, why pay this girl? It's not like an apprenticeship deal where like, okay, it's not like I'm signing her to the UFC. I think I saw some people confusing that. They thought that she's like some sort of like future UFC athlete and they've kind of signed her now. I'm like, no, I don't think that's what this means. It's like what you said. It's about sponsorship or something like that.
And you know what too? I'm looking at it here. She's actually 3-0 as a pro MMA fighter.
So pro MMA fighter. So then, but this is what I don't understand. As a pro MMA fighter, she would have got paid for those fights, and she must be able to sell her own merch.
So I think literally in the past, it was like if you were caught as a college athlete selling merch, like you probably could have been sued, kicked off the team, all that type of stuff, right? Now they're able to go get endorsements, right? So the irony is Dana White's making this deal with her, and yet he's doesn't let his own athletes get the endorsements they always want. Social media posts and public appearances. So I literally think like in the past.
Yeah, but why would I be going to a UFC public appearance and care if Bella Mir is there? No offense to Bella Mir, and I would love to have her on the podcast. But I just don't get, like, why would you sign her? Like, this seems so weird.
Part of me is thinking that I'm going to go back to the Dana White looking for plenty of news about the UFC to keep the eyes off him. Hey, former UFC fighter friends, right?
Yeah, you got any kids we could sign?
Yes, right? Oh, I know your organization's in the news for a bunch of things lately, right? Who knows?
If anyone is watching this podcast, God bless you, first of all. Thank you for watching. But if you have any clue what the hell an NIL agreement is or why Bella Mir would sign it or like what comes out of this, I have no understanding. I don't get it. If she has like 3 million followers on Instagram, isn't she going to get paid through Instagram anyways? So like that was illegal?
See, I think so, yes.
Oh.
Right? I think that
even though you're doing that outside of your I guess everything is all part and parcel, but
as long as you're still, I think, an NCAA athlete, right?
Okay. Well, then, and I'm Canadian, so we have no like NCAA, and our athletics are not the greatest.
Well,
if I was Bella Mir, I'd be like, screw your stupid NCAA wrestling. Who cares? I'm already a pro MMA fighter. My dad is Frank Mir. I'd rather just get my Instagram money and whatever than win a NCAA title. No, like,
you know what? Though? So this is a little interesting.
I guess it's the glory of it and all that too. So I don't want to disrespect that, and I get that, winning the titles and winning the NCAA glory and all that. I get that, but in today's world, if it meant sacrificing those medals, still training your ass off, but sacrificing those medals for like Instagram money, I don't know.
You know what? I think some of it is too. In a way, I'm reading something about the WWE supposedly has the most NILs out of any organization. They've had it since 2021. So I'm reading about some college wrestler that supposedly was signed to a deal with them. I guess he won at Tokyo. So they're describing it as a way, I think, they push each other. But from what I'm reading about this guy, it's also seen as like a fast lane for college athletes to go pro. So I think this is basically Dana White saying, we're going to sign her one day until she's done with all of her college amateur career.
Yeah.
Here we're going to push products that she'll make money on the side. And guess what? When she pops into the UFC, They already have their fingers in the
Right. Yeah. So so it's a way to lock your claws in these people now.
Yes.
I don't know. I still don't get it.
At the
And I still think there's 1,000 other people. Like,
I
is this the only NIL agreement that UFC has? Like, they've publicized this as having her. So I'm assuming they have none with anybody else.
yes, I think this is the first.
This is the first girl that
Yeah.
mattered?
I guess so, right? Nepotism matters, I guess, right? Not to take away from her. She was a Nevada state champ high school wrestler, right?
No. I know she's amazing, but this is what I mean. Like, she's already going to go there. And then you wonder, like, I wonder what Frank Mir's relationship with the UFC is.
And
because, like, you know, for example, like someone like Tito Ortiz, who's had a really bad history, if he had a kid who was going to grow up in whatever, I mean, I'm assuming he wouldn't want his kid to fight for UFC, but I don't know. Like,
who knows? Right?
Yeah, it's a weird deal.
You know what though? I'm at least happy about this. I'm still a little confused about it. I'm just happy they let amateur athletes make money now.
Yeah, sure. But that was happening regardless of the Bella Mir deal. Yeah.
And you know what? Makes me wonder about like an Alexa Culp. I don't know this about her.
Yeah.
But like, does she have a college background? Was she an NCAA athlete at any point? Right? Like, does this benefit people that? Is there a way to benefit from NILs when you're not in the NCAA, but you're also an amateur athlete elsewhere? Does that make sense?
Well, my question is, does NIL have anything to do with you being an amateur athlete? Could I get an NIL deal from UFC? Like, I'll promote the shit out of whatever you want, UFC. You know what I mean? I don't know. And this is what I don't understand too. I didn't understand whether an NIL deal, how is that any different than just like an ambassador deal, or like, you know, like where you like promote product, or like if you're
I think it's basically that, right? But the idea is, yes, it's basically that, except I guess the difference could be like an influencer could have their name could be like something random, right? It could be a brand name. This idea is like July 1st, 2021, NCAA new rule goes into effect when the clock strikes midnight. Student athletes start signing NIL deals, beginning to profit on their name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, but this is what I don't understand. It's not their name, image, and likeness that I would be selling, though. Bella Mir is still going to sell UFC. Oh, I guess using her name, image, and like, because she'll be talking about it's her.
Yeah.
Right, but anyways, fine. Can you imagine if everything we're saying here is like totally wrong, and then someone's going to blast us and go, "You idiots"? Which, fine, I don't care. I just want to know what the truth is, and nobody I talked to, and from all the research I was doing, I couldn't figure it out. I mean, I generally got what you were getting out of this.
Yes.
But I just wanted to know, like, what the hell's the difference between an NIL deal and just signing to do a UFC commercial? Like, I don't understand.
You know what?
Like, I don't know. Anyways, whatever. For those that have seen me continuing to drink the Prime on this podcast, it's because I'm thirsty, and I didn't bring water down with me today because I thought this drink was going to quench my thirst. So that's why I'm still drinking it. Braydbunch, God knows whether this podcast is on time, early, or late, but thank you so much. Obviously, we had some really good discussion. Alexa Culp, amazing.
Yes.
Is there anything that you want to say before we go? Like, is there anything that we didn't touch upon that you wanted to chit chat about?
The only thing is, I'm in talks with a few organizations to maybe have some fights. I might be going pro with one of them. We'll see. Also, there's this other trans fighter out there still running,
talking shit on you.
Right? So the screenshots are there. People have seen it. They said they would fight me anytime, any place, anywhere, any art, any organization. So guess what? I asked them to meet me next month. An organization wanted us to fight Muay Thai, and suddenly they're like, oh, she picked Muay Thai because she knows she would lose in MMA. They're literally kickboxing next month, right? They're making excuses. They keep ducking me. But I know we'll meet one day. And that's it. Otherwise, Timmy, thank you as always.
I do want to see that fight. I do want to see that fight. I want to see any fight that involves you, right? I do want to see any fight that involves that other person as well. But hey, man, there's tons of fights going on in the world. There's tons that's happening. Don't forget our friend Kyle Nelson fights this weekend.
And he's going to get the win.
He's going to, oh my God, it's going to be brutal. Jeon Kim, I'm really hoping that she gets a win. Look, she needs a win. She's lost her last 2, maybe 3. She needs a goddamn win. The fight was supposed to be in Korea. She was going to have her hometown, blah, blah, blah. I am hoping, I don't know the girl that she's fighting very well, but I'm hoping they were setting her up for a win.
I hope so too.
So Jeon Kim, go get that win. My God. Yeah, I think we did a good podcast today. I think we talked about a lot of stuff. Alexa was awesome.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, I feel like we got a good spiel out of it. I just wanted to put the focus on the goddamn fighters that are now all displaced because of this weird fucking thing. And I know she couldn't talk about it. I know she couldn't say anything about it. I don't think she has any knowledge on it. I'm betting. She's a 22-year-old girl. I'm sure she was not in on any of this or had any clue what the hell was going on.
So you know what, though? She, I think, filled us in more than most of the world knows with the little bit that she knows and was able to share. So yeah. I think our listeners and viewers are going to understand what's going on a bit more. And I'm happy to hear that she's still got a little circle that can meet up in her hometown like that.
Yeah. I will tell you, though, if you were from a neighboring gym and then you went into a different gym, there's got to be some like, oh, those are those glory people. Let's go beat the shit out of them. You know what I mean? There's got to be a little bit of that. Come on. That happens at every gym. Anytime a new person comes in, anytime another gym comes to spar.
I get it. I already feel like such a part of my new jiu-jitsu gym.
Mm-hmm.
That part of me is dying to enter tournaments to take on my old gym.
Yeah, so, of course. Of course. Do you know, I will say one quick thing. When I switched soccer teams as a kid, I was so pissed at my old team that I remember the first game I played against them. I think I got red carded out of that game. Awesome. But I remember we were going along the sidelines, and it was where where my former team, where the team we were playing, that is where their parents were sitting. And I was fighting for the ball with this kid, Craig. I think his name was Craig. And I shoved the shit out of him into all the bags, like right in front of all the moms. And they were like screaming and whatever. And I felt so good. Like I felt so good because I hated that team for like kicking me out and whatever. And there was all this drama going on around. And I felt so good at just shoving that kid right into all those bags, even though I love that kid. He was a nice guy. But it was just, like, I don't know, team affiliation is a real thing. So, I don't know.
And you know what? My one client just wrote to me as I'm listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, we're still recording?
You got to go. Yeah, okay. No, let's get out of here.
It's off. They rescheduled.
All right. Okay, well, we're going to get out of here anyways. We're going to end this show. Next week, Jenna Bishop on the podcast. Alexa, you were amazing, and we'll see her again. And to everybody for watching the show, thank you so much. Braydbunch.
Have a good one. You rock. We'll talk soon.
Bye.